Greetings, welcome back to Black Bear News. Please remember to like the video and make sure you are still subscribed. This is an interesting headline. Greta Thunberg says school strikes have achieved nothing. This is the leader of the school strike phenomenon that has been, circling the planet, that has involved many nations on the planet. This is worldwide. This is a worldwide movement. The school strikes on Fridays. The activist says 4% greenhouse gas emissions rise since 2015 shows action is insufficient. And we know this. We just covered this in the last video. The global wave of school strikes for the climate over the past year has achieved nothing because greenhouse gas emissions have continued to rise. Greta Thunberg has told activists at UN climate talks in Madrid. Some out there might be saying, no duh. Or, what did you think was going to happen? Thousands of young people were excited. Everything's fine. Thousands of young people were expected to gather at the UN climate conference in the streets of the Spanish capital on Friday to protest against the lack of progress in tackling the climate emergency, as officials from more than 190 countries wrangled over the niceties of wording and documents related to the Paris Accord. In the 4 years since the landmark agreement was signed, greenhouse gas emissions have risen by 4%, and the talks this year are not expected to produce new commitments on carbon from the world's biggest emitters. No new commitments. Thunberg, whose solo protest in Sweden in 2017 has since snowballed into a global movement, spoke at a press conference before March through the center of Madrid. She said that although school children had been striking around the world, this has not translated into action from governments. Interesting side note, she sailed to Madrid from the U.S., and she had an interesting statement about the fact that, her sailing was not intended to shame anybody about their travel or suggest that this is how everybody should be traveling. She wanted to highlight how difficult it is to travel outside of the planet-killing ways in which most people choose to travel. And she's also stated that it was symbolic, definitely is symbolic. I'm just an activist and we need more activists, she said. Some people are afraid to change. They try so desperately to silence us. Thunberg expressed hope for the UN negotiations, but doubted whether governments had got the message and warned the world could not afford continued inaction. I sincerely hope COP25 will reach something concrete and increase awareness among people, and that world leaders and people in power grasp the emergency of the climate crisis, because right now it does not seem that they are. Although young people would keep striking, Thunberg said they wanted to stop if governments made credible promises and showed a willingness to act. What exactly would be the threshold or the criteria of that willingness? What level of commitment would be enough to stop the school strikes or to stop, XR hunger striking or doing what they need to do? We can't go on like this. It's not sustainable that children skip school, and we don't want to continue. We would love some action from the people in power. People are suffering and dying today. We can't wait any longer, she said. The march was scheduled to coincide with protests and youth climate strikes around the world. In the U.S., Bernie Sanders and James Fonda were among the politicians and celebrities planning to join in. Bernie Sanders was at a school strike rally yesterday in Iowa. As well as the march and sit-down protests in the conference center, there were shows of international solidarity among young people from around the world, including a picnic in a central Madrid park. The conference center was flooded with hundreds of school children accompanied by their parents, many with babies and prams, who were kept separate from the rooms where negotiators were working on a draft text to clarify aspects of the Paris Agreement. Young people voiced their frustration at protests inside and outside the conference center on the outskirts of Madrid. So, they're rightly voicing their disappointment in the action being taken, and they're rightly voicing their disagreement with the levels of action being taken by not just this conference COP25 and not the policy makers or people involved, the scientists, whoever is in the conference trying to hash out what it is that they need to tell the world about climate change. It's not enough. And we've known for a long time the Paris Agreement is not enough. I don't know if many people think that what they're doing is going to change anything or whether it's worth changing anything. I don't know. Is it better to have the world just go down in a ball of flames? Is it better for everybody to just, merrily roll along and just run into the eventual brick wall that everybody's going to run into? Is that the way that we're supposed to go? Is that the action that, some people might want to see, that we're, the people that know, and the people that don't know, well, God bless them. I don't know about that. I have problems with that. As difficult of a situation as it is, as possibly hopeless as a situation as it is, I don't know that I don't know that the method for going forward is one of just, a shrug of the shoulders and, don't worry about it. People who are trying to awaken other people are not, there is pain involved in that, but there's, pain is necessary for growth. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the world, maybe we should try and grow as much as possible, in whatever ways possible. Try and grow our knowledge, our intellect, our level of consciousness. I deem that a worthy endeavor. So, God bless and Godspeed to the school strikers and to Greta Thunberg. And she's right. It hasn't changed much. It hasn't changed much, but it's changed awareness. And the only way to really start getting the ball rolling to actual change is for awareness to reach some kind of tipping point. Let's hope that tipping point is real soon. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Until next time, peace.